Now, WWE Network presents WrestleMania Kickoff.
It is the biggest, most spectacular night of the entire year. Doors are open, and more than 80,000 fans from the WWE Universe will be here tonight for the showcase of the Immortals. We are live at MetLife Stadium, home of the Jets and the Giants, but tonight it's the home of WrestleMania and how special this night is. Let's bring you inside. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a very special supersized edition of the WrestleMania Kickoff Show. A little added bonus tonight. You can watch this kickoff show in virtual reality right now using Oculus Venues or the Next VR app. We've got less than 2 hours until the start of the show. We will get you set, and what a show we have. Let's get to know the panel. We've got a cast of thousands here tonight. Let's start with the man all the way at the end. He's a WWE legend, a man who has headlined this very event, of course, JBL.
Careers are defined at WrestleMania. Legends are created. Coach, this is a night of the Immortals. I'm ready to go for WrestleMania.
Well, from a legend to this. The last professional broadcaster, Sam Roberts from Sirius, is here.
This is it. Look around you. There is nothing like WrestleMania, and to be here as a guest of the WWE is incredible, even if it has to be next to Jonathan Coachman.
Let's remember he is a guest. And finally, she's been on an incredible tour, an incredible movie, Fighting With My Family, and she is here tonight, the lovely Paige. How are you?
I'm good. Did we mention Fight With My Family already?
We did.
Because I feel like we should drop that a couple more times. It's still a movie Fizz, guys, so go check
Coach
it out.
has seen it twice.
He has? How many
Yes,
times have you
yes.
seen it?
3 or 4.
Oh, good. We beat him then.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
great. It's great.
This is one of the nights when everything stops. These are the moments that you think about and say, when I was here, when I was there. Sam, you're a huge wrestling fan. You have been for a long time. What are you looking forward to tonight?
I mean, tonight it's all about the stories. Think about the moments that we have the potential to see. Kofi Mania running wild. We have the top of the mountain for Becky Lynch. This is a night that, no matter how it goes, wrestling fans are going to remember forever.
That's right. Paige, what about you?
Oh, man. I'm looking forward to the main event. History-making women. I mean, again, I'm right now, I'm sorry, Charlotte and Ronda, don't beat me up, but I'm team Becky Lynch tonight. I hope she takes it.
JBL, what about you, man?
A little nostalgic. I think Kurt Angle is the greatest athlete, natural athlete we've ever had in the history of the WWE. Probably the greatest combat sports athlete of all time, either he or Brock Lesnar. Tonight's his last match. I get the chance to call that match. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, what a special, special place in the shadows of New York City it is. Once again, WrestleMania will stream live tonight. The only place to see it is on the WWE Network. It kicks off at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. If you haven't subscribed yet, go to WWENetwork.com, and a reminder, it is free for new subscribers. It is such an honor to be the host of this very event, and tonight, what a host we have. A former Raw Women's Champion, one of the greatest women's superstars of our generation, the lovely Alexa Bliss, the host of WrestleMania. Let's rip down the card, and JBL, let's start with you.
They call him the Beast Slayer, and we're going to find out tonight if Seth Rollins really is, because Brock Lesnar is as close to unstoppable as I've ever seen.
And after a hard-fought journey, one of the most deserving people to earn a match at WrestleMania, Kofi Kingston will be taking on Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship.
And the match I talked about earlier, Kurt Angle, the Olympic gold medalist, the world champion, NCAA champion, 6-time WWE champion. Kurt Angle's last match tonight against Baron Corbin. I get the honor of calling it.
You talk about history, the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship is on the line for the very first time at a WrestleMania, but Sasha Banks and Bayley are going to have to defend not only against the Iconics, not only against Nia Jax, Tamina, but also against Natalya and the returning Hall of Famer Beth Phoenix. And Paige, if I'm not mistaken, you're going to be on the call.
I will be. See you out there, guys.
This has become a staple of WrestleMania, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Look at all the faces. And I'm sure when Saturday Night Live's own Michael Che and Colin Jost said, yeah, we'll be a part of it, it was a great idea then. I wonder how they're feeling right about now.
Hopefully terrified, and we're not lying when we say action is on the way. The Intercontinental Championship is on the line. Bobby Lashley defending against a force that he hasn't felt before, and that's the Demon.
And as demanded by the self-proclaimed best in the world, Shane McMahon, The Miz will face him in a Falls Count Anywhere match.
And call the PD, Coach, because I have a feeling these two boys are going to steal the show. Two of the best performers I've ever seen. What happens when you put them out there, the showcase of immortals? It's going to be a classic. AJ Styles versus Randy Orton.
Love it.
And a match that's stacked with the best athletes that we have in WWE. A fatal four-way for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. The Usos versus Ricochet and Aleister Black versus The Bar versus Shinsuke and Rusev.
The internet's been buzzing all week. Is the match going to happen? Is it not going to happen? It's going down. Injuries or no injuries, Rey Mysterio is stepping up to the plate to try to take the United States Championship from Samoa Joe.
And Triple H has been here so many times, but this could be his last. Tonight he faces Batista in a no-holds-barred match. He loses, career is over for Triple H.
You talk about opportunities. Drew McIntyre has the opportunity of a lifetime, and that's to be the spoiler of the hero's return, Roman Reigns.
On one of the most anticipated matches tonight, the three women making history in the first ever women's main event, winner takes all. Baddest woman on the planet, Ronda Rousey, the man, Becky Lynch, and the queen, Charlotte Flair.
It pays there are over 80,000 fans here tonight that will say, I was there when the women headlined WrestleMania for the very first time. Much more on that historic main event coming up over the course of the next couple of hours or so. I told you we have a cast of thousands here tonight because WrestleMania streams live on the WWE Network, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. If you haven't subscribed yet, what in the world are you waiting for? Go to WWENetwork.com. Remember, WrestleMania is free for new subscribers. All right, somewhere in this incredible venue, this incredible facility, Charlie Caruso and Pat McAfee are standing by. Guys?
Coach, thank you so much for standing right on top of this stage. We're just taking it all in. This truly is unreal. MetLife Stadium being turned into the grandest stage of them all, and the enormity of it all is just truly something to really take in, and oh my goodness.
It's a mind-blowing experience, Charlie. We were backstage just a couple minutes ago chatting about how lucky we are to be here. I was a guy who got to kick off a Super Bowl my rookie year. Now I get a chance to be on the WrestleMania kickoff show. I'm the luckiest dude on earth. I'm not supposed to be here, and I know that, but the WWE Universe is a buzzing here in MetLife, and tonight, WrestleMania is always when superstars become legends, and moments become iconic, and we get to be here and watch it all, Charlie. It's going to be a blast.
It is going to be a blast. So tell me, what are you especially looking forward to seeing tonight here at WrestleMania?
Obviously, the ladies are going to dominate at the end of the night. It's going to be incredible. Shane and Miz is going to be a revenge tale. I'm excited to see if Miz can make up for what Shane did to him in front of his dad in his hometown. I like to have a good time. Okay? Always have, always will, but I'm a sucker for a good story. And Roman Reigns' comeback trail here. We fight, we overcome, we believe. I believe he's going to take down the Scottish Terminator.
I think you might be right about that. Right now, we are seeing everyone still filing into MetLife Stadium. There will be more than 80,000 members of the WWE Universe in attendance to watch all of the action go down. And we have so much to talk about, but to get to more, let's go back to Coach and the crew.
I like that, Coach and the crew. Maybe we'll have a radio show about that someday. All right, thank you, Charlie. Pat, well, you talk about a story about redemption, about recovery. Who would have ever thought that 6 months ago that Roman Reigns, who was sidelined by leukemia, would not only be back, but would be healthy enough to compete tonight here at WrestleMania. But, JBL, I'm going to start with you. It's one thing to come back and compete, but when you got Drew McIntyre standing across the ring staring at you, that's going to be a very daunting task.
Yeah, and what you do on this stage, what you do in this WrestleMania moment, that defines your career. And I think Drew McIntyre knows that. He's been taking apart the Shield, and now he's going after Roman Reigns. And I really believe Roman Reigns, it's his first match back, may be biting off more than he can chew because he's stepping into the ring right now with Drew McIntyre, who is on fire.
But you've got to believe, Paige, that when you've got 80,000 fans that undoubtedly will be behind Roman Reigns, lifting him up, just like did in the very first night when he himself said, I was shocked at how much they lifted me up. You've got to believe he's going to use that here tonight against Drew.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like every athlete, every superstar uses that. Anytime they've been out for a little bit, they come back, and the fans are just wonderful. They welcome you back with open arms. So he's definitely going to use that, and it's going to be in his power. Absolutely.
I wouldn't say undoubtedly the fans will be behind Roman Reigns is a definite. We're in New York. Have you seen Roman Reigns compete in New York before? This is going to be the test. The fans were happy to see Roman Reigns come back, yes, but now he's back, and he's got to prove himself. And let's be honest, you said he's healthy enough to compete, but when Drew McIntyre got his hands on Roman Reigns, he laid him out to the point that he had to be helped out. We haven't seen him compete since.
And I don't care if there's 8 million fans behind Roman Reigns. That works until you get punched in the mouth.
That's right.
These fans aren't in the ring. Roman Reigns has to go out there and fight Drew McIntyre. And it doesn't make a damn what's going on around him. Look, it may make you feel good. It may make your family sit there and say, oh, look how they love our husband. Look how they love my daddy. It doesn't matter in that ring. And that's what Drew McIntyre knows.
That's the thing, is that it's going to be good until, or feel good until Roman Reigns gets in there and, like you said, gets hit in the mouth the very first time. Then he's going to realize, wait a second, I've got to continue my legacy. That, let's be honest, he's been in the main event not once, not twice, but several times over the years. He knows what it's like at this big event.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. To be honest, I'm just so excited for him to come back, especially just at WrestleMania in general. I mean, like, all these fans are going to be behind him. I'm behind him. I don't care. If you're not behind him, I don't care. If you're not behind him, he's going to walk away, and he's going to walk away.
We'll see. I mean, he's got to do more than win. He's got to prove that this is still his yard.
Yeah, but
He's doing it.
Quickly, Drew McIntyre has said since he came back that he wants to prove he's a top-flight superstar. JBL, there's no better way to do that than get a big win on this stage here tonight.
No, and I love what Drew McIntyre is trying to do here by going after Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. That is audacious. Drew McIntyre is going to be a future world champion. We're going to see what he does tonight, but you can't understate, Coach, what you said about Roman Reigns being hit for the first time. When you're battle-hardened and you've been out there wrestling every single week, it takes you a while to get into that mindset again. And the first time Roman Reigns gets hit, the body reacts different when you've been off. So we're going to see tonight.
Okay, great stuff. Hang tight. Plenty more to come here on the WrestleMania Kickoff Show. And we don't have to wait very long for action because we've got action right here on the show. And I'm talking about a lot of it. How about this? It was just added this week. The Raw Tag Team titles on the line as the Revival. They've grown very attached to those titles, but they take on Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins. Zack Ryder told me this is a dream come true here tonight. How about this? It's not just the men that get to have a battle royal, but the women too. Look at those faces. Look at those superstars. The WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal here live tonight on the Kickoff Show.
Oscar's night.
What?
I think it's going to be
Stop
Oscar's
interrupting
night.
me. All right, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And I told you, we got a couple of guys from Saturday Night Live calling Jost, Uncle Chief. I think they're going to be in for a rude awakening here tonight, JBL, when they get in the ring with these big boys.
Baptism by fire. I love it.
And how about this? The WWE Cruiserweight Championship match will kick things off. You think this is going to be a highlight reel? You better believe it. Buddy Murphy, Tony Nese, they are ready to go very soon. Let's go.
With the Grubhub delivery app, if you want it all, you can get it all. Get $10 off on your first order. Grubhub, restaurants you love delivered.
Good evening, WWE Universe. This is your host of WrestleMania, Alexa Bliss here, and what a night I have in store for you. While many of the superstars are preparing for the WrestleMania moments inside the ring, as your host, I'll be providing even more outside the ring. So basically, you can consider all of WrestleMania your moment of bliss.
Man, oh man. Look at that. Coach,
Oh,
you look
there you
good.
go.
Don't
Well,
worry about it.
yeah.
You look great.
It's live TV. It's live TV.
Nobody's here for your tie anyway, Coach.
Between
Don't
that's
worry
true.
about
I'm
it.
gonna rip it off.
Between your tie and Sam's hair, we are screwed.
I took care of
Did
my
you
hair
lose a
before
bet?
the show. Lose a bet.
What's that? No, we're actually live on TV right now.
Yeah.
Serious, yeah. They're trying to help us out here. That's all right. It's live TV. But,
There's a match everybody's looking forward to, you know, Coach.
yeah, exactly. I know. Oh,
This
later
is it.
tonight, they're calling it Kofi Mania. Hey, it's live TV. Kofi Mania. All 80,000 fans are behind him. Daniel Bryan, he says, hey, listen, I'm going to stop Kofi Mania in its tracks here live tonight. Listen to backstage. Kayla Braxton is standing by with a couple members of the New Day.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the New Days, Big E and Xavier Woods. Well, hello, guys.
What's going on, Caleb?
Well, hey, tonight is by far the biggest night of Kofi Kingston's 11-year career. And 2 weeks ago, the two of you made that possible by winning that tag team gauntlet match. So what was that like to win that match for Kofi?
Kayla, it was incredible. But you know us. That's what we do. It's your boys, the New Day, a.k.a. Helium, because we rise to the occasion. But please believe us when we say that Kofi Kingston will not squander this golden opportunity.
Now, is there any concern that just barely making it to WrestleMania has perhaps emptied Kofi's tank? Does he have anything left to actually defeat the new Daniel Bryan?
Oh, Kayla. You see, Kofi's tank is like when you stop for gas or petrol for the Brits, and you go to fill up the tank, but you get a little extra squeeze just to top it off, and a little bit of it dribbles out on you, and you smell like gasoline for the next 48 hours. That's how full Kofi's tank is. You see, Kofi's tank is filled with memories from the past 11 years of being overlooked and undervalued. Kofi's tank is filled with memories of being a boy, just a child, and being told that his dream of becoming WWE champion is silly and impossible. Kofi's tank is filled with the knowledge that his family, his wife, his 2 sons, and his brothers who stand by him every night, that we have his back until the very end. Soon, very, very soon, this arena is going to be filled with over 80,000 people, Kayla. Yes. Millions more watching around the world. Yes, sir. And every single person is going to be glued to their seats as they watch Kofi Kingston become their new WWE World Heavyweight Champion! We ready, Kayla? Kayla, we ready? Are we ready? Let's go, Kayla! Go. Let's go, Kayla! Come on! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go, Kayla! Come on, Kayla, we going! Let's go, Kayla! Let's go! Let's go! Kayla, let's go! Kayla! Yeah! Kayla!
Oh, it's about emotions, it's about belief, it's about overcoming all the odds. And up until tonight, Kofi's been able to do that. Having his 2 brothers have his back is something I'm sure he can't put into words. But 2 men who know all about that in their careers. They know about being a great tag team. They don't know about going separate ways and doing it as singles competitors. Of course, I'm talking about Edge and Christian, and they join us now here on the WrestleMania Kickoff Show. Edger, I want to start with you. Let's look at it from a Kofi perspective. Everything he's been through, and now he gets his opportunity here tonight. What's it like?
Well, to me, what Kofi is experiencing right now is a tsunami of support from the WWE Universe that I don't think can be denied. Now, there's the caveat that Daniel Bryan has been involved in title matches at WrestleMania before. This is the first time Kofi has. I don't think it's going to matter. After 11 years of trying to climb and scratch and claw and butt his head on this glass ceiling, he is finally going to break through tonight, and I can't wait to see it.
Well, why do you suppose? I mean, you guys have been through everything there is to go through in WWE. If Kofi is ready for his opportunity tonight, Christian, you would probably be best to ask, why is it taking him this long to get to this spot?
Well, here's the thing, right? With Kofi, he waited 11 years for this opportunity. You know, maybe you could look at it from this perspective. He was happy, he was content with just being a passenger along for the ride, and this fell into his lap. Maybe that's why Mr. McMahon views him as a B-plus player. Let's be honest, Mr. McMahon viewed Daniel Bryan as a B-plus player, but here's what he found out later on about Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan has a championship mentality, even if the package is B-plus player. Kofi, on the other hand, every time he seems to get to the finish line, he trips up. B-plus player, B-plus mentality. Unless he can change that tonight, he's not leaving as the World Heavyweight Champion.
I disagree, and for someone who waited 15 years to get his first World Heavyweight Championship match, I don't understand how you don't see where Kofi is coming from.
Well, here's the thing, I didn't wait 15 years. I was scratching and clawing for 15 years, and when I had my first opportunity,
how do you know
I
Kofi
won
wasn't?
the World Heavyweight Championship. Kofi's had his, and he fell short.
Tonight, it's going to happen.
I think
I
it's
hope it
about
does.
3
I like
words.
Kofi. I'm not saying anything bad about Kofi.
I think it's about 3 words. Spoil the party if you are Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan's one of the very few superstars that has lived his dream out on this stage. Am I right?
Well,
he doesn't want Kofi to do that
here's the
to
other
him.
thing. He's not only the World Heavyweight Champion, he's the planet's champion. He's performing at an optimal level because of what he's saying. He doesn't poison his body, and trust me, I know what he's talking about. I've listened to the new Daniel Bryan. I've become 21% vegan, and I feel better about myself.
21%.
He's 100%.
He does have a great body.
Imagine what
debatable.
he's performing at right now.
Kofi Kingston is 100% the people's champion.
That's right.
That's much more important.
Well, unless he can change.
I mean, to Christian's point, though, Kofi has kind of taken everything that Vince has given him. He hasn't really fought him on anything. Every time Mr. McMahon comes out and lays out another challenge in front of him, Kofi just kind of shrugs and goes, okay, instead of being outraged, which fans are,
Sam,
but Kofi's not.
you look like Dean Ambrose got put in a dryer with Krusty the Clown's wig.
What does that have to do with anything?
It was just funny. It was just
I'm a
funny.
Hall of Famer and you're not.
That's exactly right.
So
Yes,
my
he is.
opinion matters more.
That's exactly right.
Coach,
And
your tie's flying off. This is WrestleMania, baby. Yeah, it's chaos.
It's a travesty.
chaos.
It's a travesty.
Look.
Edge, Christian, thank you guys so very much. What a way to get things started. You're right. Well, it's time to get things started in the ring. Let's sit it down for what's going to be an incredibly action-packed match. Vic Joseph, Nigel McGuinness, and Aiden English. Gentlemen, good evening.
Oh, thanks, Coach. You know, I can't wait to see if Kofi Kingston can capture the WWE Championship, but right now, it's about the Cruiserweight Championship. Who walks out of WrestleMania champion?
I got to think it's Buddy Murphy. Tony Nese knows Murphy better than anybody, but in the superhero world of 205 Live, Buddy Murphy is Thanos.
But Tony Nese has never been more dialed in, and I feel like tonight is his night.
It is time for the Cruiserweight Championship at WrestleMania.
The following contest scheduled for one fall is for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship. Introducing first, from Melbourne, Australia, weighing in at 205 pounds, here's the WWE Cruiserweight Champion, Buddy Murphy.
Just over 90 minutes away from WrestleMania, a sold-out crowd still filing into MetLife Stadium.
And we are watching Buddy Murphy, a man I've known for years, do his thing.
And the WrestleMania kickoff show is brought to you by Mattel Elite Collection action figures. Make your collection elite. And there's no doubt that Buddy Murphy has been the elite in the Cruiserweight division.
100%, but one superstar looking to knock him
And his
down.
opponent from Long Island, New York, weighing in at 196 pounds, the premier athlete, Tony Nese. 5, 6, 7, 8. This is my WrestleMania moment, baby. Thank you, bud.
The biggest match without a doubt of Tony Nese's career. Just imagine the emotion for this man.
And Nese won the 8-man tournament for the right to challenge Murphy tonight. And let's not forget what happened this past Tuesday on 205 Live.
Tony Nese and Buddy Murphy could not wait for WrestleMania, and they nearly tore each other apart on that edition of 205 Live. But here is where it's settled. Here is where it counts. Here is WrestleMania.
Both superstars are ready. There's the bell, and Murphy going in for the knee. And look at Tony Nese now, swinging away on Murphy. Cruiserweight Championship on the line.
Murphy trying to start this just like he did with Cedric Alexander at Super Showdown, trying to put it away early.
Murphy with a big boot to the face of Nese. Nese coming right back in. And again, these two superstars know each other so well. And Nese is fired up.
There's Nese not far from where he grew up here. The emotion has got to be palpable for this young man.
And again, the experience for both these two former friends, now foes, here on the grandest stage of them all. Tony Nese has been focused on becoming the Cruiserweight Champion, and can the premier athlete put away Buddy Murphy here tonight?
First WrestleMania for both these men.
Wait a
Big
minute.
deal, big stage.
And again, Buddy Murphy coming in, and this time trying to hoist up Nese.
This is the aggression of Buddy Murphy that has kept that Cruiserweight title around his waist.
And wait a minute. Oh! Gut first over the turnbuckle went Tony Nese. Murphy's in control of this Cruiserweight Championship match.
I don't care who I have to beat, I am reclaiming everything they have tried to take from me.
Undeserving? I'm about to show you how deserving I am.
I'm going to embarrass and humiliate Charlotte and Becky on the grandest stage of them all.
For the first time in 35 years, our women will be the main event of WrestleMania. It's winner take all.
WrestleMania. Streaming live on WWE Network. Tonight, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. As always, WWE Network is free for new subscribers.
Well, no doubt history will be made tonight. Who will win that winner-take-all contest? But right now, who will walk out of WrestleMania Cruiserweight champion? Buddy Murphy in control. And guys, let's go back to what happened just before the break. Check this out.
And watch this. Buddy Murphy leaps, dropping Tony Nese right across the ropes. And ever since that moment, Buddy Murphy has been dominant and on top of Tony Nese.
It was a good start for the premier athlete, but with that maneuver, the momentum has shifted 180 degrees back in the favor of Buddy Murphy.
And at this point, Murphy able to weather the storm early on by Nese. And Buddy Murphy used to big match situations, defended the title at Survivor Series, the Royal Rumble, but can Buddy Murphy walk out of the grandest stage of them all with the title?
And not for nothing, this is Tony Nese's first match on that kind of a stage. You gotta imagine nerves are setting in at least a little bit.
Look at Murphy looking for the DDT, gets countered. Nese now suplex into the turnbuckle.
Awkward landing for Murphy. But take a look at Tony Nese now. Let me ask you, as we take another look here, look how the champion landed very uncomfortably. Aiden, you performed on this stage. How big of a factor are nerves at WrestleMania?
It's huge. This is what we train for. This is what you prepare yourself for. But nothing, especially your first one, compares to that feeling of walking out here in front of these masses of people.
Not just the people, his family here as well, his wife, his 4-year-old daughter.
Oh, and another left hand by Buddy Murphy. Now Murphy is getting rocked right now by Nese. And Nese, trying to follow up on the champion. The challenger rocking again. Spinning heel kick takes Murphy down.
Tony Nese back in control.
Feeling it in the shadow of New York City.
Nese charging in one more time. And this time over the top rope, lands on his feet.
Murphy didn't see it.
Oh, nice block by the champion. Big right hand by Murphy. And now Murphy. What's he looking for here? Looking for the suplex. Gets countered, though, by Tony Nese. Oh! Champion hung out to dry.
Dangerous area.
Moonsault connects. Cover for the title. And Murphy kicks out at 2.
Murphy is not going to let his precious Cruiserweight Championship go that easily.
My prediction looks pretty tough at this point as we see a picture-perfect moonsault. And look at the impact driving the champion into the match.
Tony Nese right into the cover and was a half-second away from crowning himself Cruiserweight champion.
Champion holding the top rope for dear life. He realizes he's in trouble.
Oh!
Nese has got the champion stunned.
Spinning heel kick right to the midsection. And Nese follow up Murphy now. Wait a minute. Oh! Look at Nese. Murphy countering Nese.
These guys know each other so well. They've worked with each other, and now they're working against each other.
Oh, that open palm strike connected right on the jaw. And is Tony Nese closing in on becoming Cruiserweight champion.
Buddy Murphy groggy and precarious on the top rope. Legs to the outside for an attempted superplex. If there is anyone in 205 Live who can match Murphy for power, it is perhaps Tony Nese.
And Murphy trying to look for the power bomb. Counter, wait a minute. Oh! Super kick connects. And Murphy plants Nese to retain his Cruiserweight title, and Nese kicks out.
What a combination, that super kick in the ropes followed up by that planting, and no way did I think Tony Nese was going to kick out, but somehow he did.
Expected crowd of over 80,000 members of the WWE Universe still filing in. 90 minutes away from the start of WrestleMania. And the Cruiserweights taking center stage right now is Murphy. Could be looking for Murphy's Law. Can't hoist up. Nese rolls through. Shoulders down. Title on the line, and Murphy kicks out. Wait a minute. This time Murphy's up. Oh! Murphy able to drop Nese with another knee. Nese could be out. Murphy hoisting up Nese.
Looking for the brain buster, couldn't get it.
Nese. Inverted Rana.
Spike.
Murphy is out of it.
But Tony Nese, signs of fatigue. Lactic acid has to be blending up as we take a look here. Look at the angle and the impact. Right on top of the spine.
You know, at this point in the matchup, with both these superstars knowing each other so well, is it going to come down to someone just pulling a rabbit out of the hat, Nigel?
Could come down to one superstar making a mistake. That was how Nice beat Gulak.
And here we go. Wait a minute. And again, there's that familiarity between both of these superstars. As now Murphy lighting up Tony Nese.
Tony sees Murphy, he knows Murphy.
And oh, premier athlete showcasing his own striking ability. And oh, another kick. Oh! And a forearm by Nese.
That's the beautiful thing about adrenaline. It can dull the sharpest needle as these guys are still going at each other.
Oh, what a clothesline. And Murphy could be closing in on retaining that cruiserweight title.
But Nese lifts him up. What?
Oh! Shoulders are down. Title's on the line. Murphy kicks out. And look at the face of Tony Nese.
Momentary frustration, but Nese cannot let it get to him. Nese has got to stay focused, keep that pedal down. I can't remember a time the Cruiserweight champion, Buddy Murphy, was this tested.
This match resembling an air raid.
Wait a minute.
Bomb.
Look where Murphy's at.
No.
Tony Nese was looking for that running Nese. Murphy sliding out.
And followed it up. Boom!
But Nese can't win the title on a countout. He's got to get Murphy back into the ring.
Oh, but great adjusting after Murphy moved, and now he's setting up what could be going for that 450 splash.
Can Nese hit it? Can Nese hit the 450 from the top? Got it!
He does!
Hook of the leg! And again, Murphy just kicking out. Take a look at this again. Look at the pure athleticism by the premier athlete, able to twist and turn and then land so perfectly.
Crosby flop dive. There was a second he took his eyes off of the opponent, but landed perfectly. Speaking of which, 450, all the momentum driven into the chest of the champion. And look where Murphy is.
Well, Murphy out of desperation just grabbing the leg of Nese, and now Nese. All the frustration built up.
Stomping away at Murphy.
But still Murphy laid out. Nese again charging in. Murphy! Jumping knee out of nowhere. And Murphy now looking for Murphy's Law. He got it!
He got it!
Murphy to retain. Hooks the leg. And Buddy Moore! How close was that, Nigel?
Serendipitous, or whether it was just great ring awareness from the premier athlete.
Just instinct, pure instinct, and good call by the referee, seeing that Tony Nese out of pure instinct, putting his foot on the rope.
Well, Buddy Murphy looked in. Murphy now.
Oh, come on.
Murphy looking to take a playbook out of Tony Nese, and wait a minute. Super kick! Nese turns Murphy around, German into the turnbuckles.
And now he's set up again.
And Nese charges in. That time connected. Running Nese.
He got him.
Running Nese. Cover. The count. And Tony Nese is the new Cruiserweight champion.
Here is your winner and the new WWE Cruiserweight champion, Tony Nese.
The dream was so real, it had to come true for the premier athlete.
What a homecoming for Tony Nese, a premier WrestleMania, a premier match, and the premier Cruiserweight Championship for Tony Nese.
Can you believe it? Tony Nese made me a liar.
Well, we all thought Buddy Murphy, bam, had that Murphy's Law and a match won. But guys, Tony Nese right there at the last moment kept this match going.
Something inside him telling him to stay in this, and then followed it up with the German into the corner, setting him up in the perfect spot for the running Nese.
And that running Nese would give Tony Nese his WrestleMania moment by crowning himself the new Cruiserweight champion. What a moment this must be for Tony Nese. And guys, the premier era has begun on 205 Live.
The world of WWE comes to life with Mattel WWE action figures. You can perform one-of-a-kind signature poses, iconic superstar moves, non-stop WWE action. You can recreate your favorite moments or create dream matches you never thought were possible. Mattel WWE ring and action figures, each sold separately. You can collect them all.
Our kickoff show continues. More than 80,000 fans continue to file in here to MetLife Stadium. Let's send it back down to Charlie Caruso and Pat McAfee. Guys.
The action already unreal tonight, Pat. We just saw Tony Nese win the Cruiserweight Championship. We can expect so much more on the kickoff show and then, of course, WrestleMania. But right now, I want to introduce two very important guests to the kickoff shows. Two stars from one of my very favorite shows, Impractical Jokers, Sal and Q.
Hello,
Guys, welcome to WrestleMania.
This is insane.
Well, this is a dream come true. I feel like I'm main eventing right now.
Yeah, I feel like we are the stars of WrestleMania for this.
And we kind of are, I think. Yes.
I think everybody at home agrees.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are there any hidden cameras around here we need to be worried about?
Yes. No, this is your show right now.
Obviously, the Impractical Jokers are on at any given time on True TV.
Yes.
Anytime,
All the
24/7, you guys are on. But you're also massive wrestling fans,
Correct.
as we can tell by your shirt here,
Yes.
Sal. You look incredible. Is The Miz and Shane what you're looking forward to tonight?
The Miz, yes, I have to go with The Miz. I mean, he's due. His father's involved. We're rooting for The Miz. And also, I just have to say, it's also Kofi Mania.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so,
Absolutely.
yeah. But yeah, The Miz, I think The Miz, I'd like to see The Miz's dad maybe have a word with Shane's dad. I don't know. I'm not telling you how to do anything.
A little family affair.
Could be.
Q, what about you? What are you looking forward to?
Well, first of all, I want to say I am wearing Miz underwear. You can't see it. It's a thong. I didn't want anybody to go. I am all here. I'm here for the main event. I'm here to watch the ladies go. I am here to watch the man go in that ring and cause massive amounts of damage. However, I don't want to call a winner because I'm afraid of all of them.
Well, they were just in jail, so who knows what they picked up while in there. You know what I mean? There's a lot of tough things going on in jail, so you might want to stay away from them.
I agree completely. We are so lucky to have you here tonight. The Impractical Jokers are absolute superstars. You're the most hilarious humans on television.
So funny.
Well, why'd you look at Sal when you said that?
Well, I meant him mostly, but
Right,
you
okay,
also.
but I mean, all right,
He's got the merch on.
I have the thong on. I have the thong on. I have the Miz thong on.
Might I say, my jacket is nothing compared to this jacket. Come on.
Thank you. You have pants on, though. Almost got kicked off the stage earlier for the
Charlie's
shorts.
standing here looking this gorgeous, and the two of you are complimenting
Well,
each
you
other.
have a thong on, so you've got all of us beat. But tonight, most of the matches are going to take place in this ring, but one match, as your shirt implies, is not going to be contained. It is going to be Shane, the best in the world, McMahon versus The Miz. Falls count anywhere.
Anywhere.
All right, Charlie. Well, this is not about titles. It has become very, very personal between former tag team champion partners and now mortal enemies, The Miz and Shane McMahon. It is going to be diabolical as falls count anywhere. Well, this one's very, very personal, and we had to bring in our resident WWE Hall of Famer, Jerry the King Lawler, to the set to start the discussion on this one. You know all about family. You know about making things personal in this business. What Shane McMahon did to The Miz's father completely crossed the line.
Well, I know a lot about the McMahon family. I go a long way back with them. And let's face reality. Shane is a McMahon. Miz, he's so embarrassed of his family, he won't even use the last name. Now, Shane as a kid growing up, he had a chauffeur-driven bicycle. Now he's got a Persian rug made out of real Persians. Miz, he grew up flipping burgers. Let's face it. Tonight, Shane is going to he's going to make Miz take a back seat.
Yeah, and who doesn't want to punch Miz's dad? Right. I mean, come on. He sits there, he puts himself on camera all the time. Look at me, look at me. His son's the one that made a name for himself. Dad's just sitting there. No wonder, it was just a matter of time before he got hit.
Did you know that when Miz was a little baby, he took his first step? And his dad tripped him. That's true.
But this version of The Miz, to me, is more annoying than the last version of The Miz. Everything is about family now. Paige, you're probably the wrong person to ask because I saw a movie where your family actually...
Fight with my family?
That's the one. Your family actually is all in the ring.
Yes.
Watching The Miz go out on SmackDown and talk about how he's a dad and he's got his wife and his dad loves him. He's talking about his family instead of talking about action in the ring, instead of talking about championships, instead of talking about rivalries. King, Bradshaw, Paige, isn't that a terrible strategy? Isn't your family the last thing you want to be concerned about when you're at work inside of a WWE ring?
Paige. Have you seen how many times me and King have been married? Of course wrestling's the most important thing.
But can I say, since Shane relieve me of my job as GM. This is what happens, okay? I should become GM again, and this stuff wouldn't happen anymore.
Well, let's talk about the match very, very quickly, because I think Miz got suckered in. We know that Shane's not exactly what you would call an artistic in-ring performer, but when he gets in a match like this is where Shane McMahon shines.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I can just see in the future right now. I can see Shane climbing up onto the top rope and diving all the way across. You know what we're talking about. You know Shane does that move.
That's right.
Diving right into the face of The Miz, that A-lister face. Ooh,
One final thought, JBL, go ahead.
Look, Miz is a terrific talent, okay? He's a former WWE champion. Miz is a great competitor, but I think he's stepping in the deep end here. You've seen what Shane McMahon is willing to do to himself just to create a moment. I'm not sure Miz knows what he's getting into here.
Yeah. All right, let's end it right there. Time to send it back down to the ring. One of the great voices of the WWE at ringside, Lillian Garcia.
Well, we are getting set for our next contest. As you see, the women in the women's WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal making their way down to the ring. And, well, right now I want to welcome in some new partners, that being NXT's Percy Watson and Monday Night Raw's Renee Young.
We're doing it, WrestleMania, oh my gosh.
I can't tell you how excited I am right now in front of 80,000 plus up here in NYC. Let's do this thing, baby.
Hey guys, who do you think is going to win the second annual WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal?
Listen, if I was a betting woman, I would put my money on Sonya Deville here.
I don't know about that. I got the
Ladies and gentlemen, the following is the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. Now in this match, eliminations occur when a superstar is thrown over the top rope with both feet hitting the floor. The last remaining woman will be declared the winner.
Well, we are set as you see. The superstars making the way in. Mickie James, Dana Brooke. I mean, well, you chose Sonya Deville. Why is that?
Well, listen, I feel like Sonya Deville has constantly been called a future WWE Women's Champion. So I feel like tonight could be a night for her to take the spotlight on the grandest stage of them all.
Making her way to the ring, from Orlando, Florida, Naomi!
And there's my pick right there. She won the first ever WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. She's looking to repeat, I'm telling you.
Making her way to the ring is Naomi, but how about the next competitor?
It's a scary thought right here, the longest undefeated streak in WWE history.
And from Osaka, Japan, Asuka!
Who is gonna be ready for Asuka?
So Vic, let me ask you, who is your pick to win this thing here tonight?
Well, you both have great picks. I'm gonna go numbers game. It's a battle royal, right? So I'm gonna go with the Riot Squad.
Okay.
I'm gonna say a member of the Riot Squad is gonna win.
Hold on, Vic. Now,
you gotta pick one of them,
which member are you talking about? You can't pick the whole crew.
I will go with its leader, Ruby Riot. I'll go with Ruby Riot, the leader.
That was my second guess, so I might be piggybacking. We'll see how this all shakes down.
But Asuka is ready, and there's no doubt she's got to be a favorite heading in to this matchup. And again, the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. Let's go over the top rope. Both feet must hit the floor to be eliminated. And there's the bell. We're underway.
Oh, whoa.
Nikki Cross gonna set the stage here.
I mean, are you surprised, though?
No.
Nikki Cross now.
That's gonna be a good battle.
Oh, the women focusing on Nikki Cross. Cross is fighting them all off.
Tries to get out of dodge by Mandy.
Whoa, and that was Mandy Rose went through the middle rope. That would not have been an elimination had she gone to the floor.
Got to see what kind of salty mood Lana might be in today.
Oh,
look at Maria running from Cross. She's scared for her life.
Oh, it's caught in. Kairi Sane from NXT locking up with Sonya
Ember
Deville.
Oh,
the first elimination. Maria Kanellis is gone.
Nikki's just looking to create chaos anyway.
Well, there's Candice LeRae from NXT. Can Candice LeRae eliminate Nikki Cross?
No, Candice won't back down from anybody.
Oh! Candice draped over the top rope. Still is eligible.
Nikki Cross gonna finish the job here.
Oh, Asuka certainly isn't afraid of anyone.
I don't think anyone's getting under the skin of Asuka, not Nikki Cross.
Asuka ain't worried about them mind games at all.
Nikki Cross, Candice Ray eliminated, and Asuka takes out Nikki Cross.
All right, let's see what Asuka brings to the table here tonight. This could be her match.
Mandy Rose, we see right now over by Asuka, trying to hoist up Lana over there as well. Asuka now.
Teamwork to make the dream work.
And there's Ember Moon staring down Naomi.
Two of the premier athletes in the game right here, Ember Moon and Naomi.
Oh!
Ember Moon's another woman that's been dubbed a future champion in WWE.
Nice Hurricane Rana.
Hey, but look, I've known Naomi for 10 years, since she first signed here in WWE. She has untapped potential still.
And Naomi with a forearm, former women's champion. And now Naomi trying to dispatch Ember Moon. Oh! She hit an eclipse on Lana.
Lana got caught in the crosshairs.
And now Ember Moon trying to follow up. And Moon trying to eliminate last year's winner. And, Naomi not going to go down without a fight. And there comes Dana Brooke. And now Ember Moon to the top rope. Naomi has been eliminated. We're guaranteed to have a new winner.
This opens the field wide open.
Wait, look.
There's Mandy Rose. It's knocked down. Ember Moon.
Ember Moon is ferocious tonight.
Striking anything that moves. Looking for the eclipse.
One of the most fierce competitors in the game.
Oh, there's Sonya Deville.
There's my choice right there. Let's work it, Sonya.
Deville with Ember Moon over the top rope. Oh, and a forearm. Ember Moon still eligible. Ooh. She can get back into the ring, but again, Ember Moon, she's been taking a lot of risks in this battle royal, and now Lana.
Oh, no way!
Lana eliminated Ember Moon.
High risk, high reward.
And Kairi Sane, the Pirate Princess.
Walk the plank, Lana.
NXT's former women's champion going to work on Lana over here.
Oh.
Might regret that one.
Kick from Lana. Kairi Sane rocked. Lana now. So you see all the women here in the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. What's on the line? Oh! You see Liv Morgan teetering on the top rope as well, but Kairi Sane.
Oh, big risk, big reward. Here we go, up top.
Kairi Sane looking, and wait a minute, just locked eyes with Sarah Logan from the Riot Squad. Oh. Kairi Sane still just hanging on. And Sarah Logan looking around, but seems to now have turned her attention to Lana.
Look at the patience of Sarah Logan. Burning a hole through Lana.
Lana wanted a hug of like, thanks for helping me, but
how about bear hug?
What is this about?
I don't think that's what was going on. Now all three members of the Riot Squad.
This is where that numbers game comes into play.
Oh, what a vicious headbutt. And now, as you just mentioned, Lana dispatched and eliminated. As the numbers begin to shrink in the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal, the odds of the Riot Squad are building.
But if it comes down to all three members remaining of the Riot Squad,
well, here's the thing with the
turn on each other?
Yeah, the Riot Squad, they've got that family mentality. No matter what, whoever walks out from the Riot Squad, they all win.
Kairi Sane looking to fly. Ooh, a devastating elbow. But can Kairi Sane hoist up Sarah Logan? And there's that Peck mentality. Liv Morgan now. Wait a minute.
Over the top.
Liv Morgan hanging out. Kairi Sane charging in. And there's Ruby Riott to pick up Kairi Sane. And again, all three members.
This is not where Kairi Sane wants to be. Oh!
The Riot Squad eliminates Kairi Sane.
Pirate Princess done.
Oh! Just over 1 hour away from WrestleMania, but right now is Carmella. Oh, another kick.
Former SmackDown Women's Champion.
Carmella's a woman who's never satisfied. She wants to do more.
Oh! And the WWE Universe still filing into MetLife Stadium is now Zelina Vega trying to crank things up here.
Zelina Vega could be a dark horse in all this.
Zelina Vega up and over. Ruby Riott with an elbow. And look at that, right into Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan.
This teamwork, this chemistry of the Riot Squad is unmatched.
And Logan now, another possible elimination. Zelina Vega holding on. Is Asuka now?
Oh,
No.
no.
Oh,
man.
Oh!
Riot Squad just completely having their way in this matchup here.
Asuka also over the top. I mean, guys, the Riot Squad has taken over the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal.
Clearly they're focusing on Asuka at this point. She's got to be one of the most dangerous, and now Dana Brooke taking a beating.
You can hear the very vocal WWE Universe as the Riot Squad gets in. Look at Dana Brooke.
Whoa.
Dana
I like
Brooke.
it. This fight in Dana's unbelievable.
That's what it takes. That's how you move on to the next level.
This is her
Climb the ropes
moment.
here. Wow.
This is Dana Brooke's WrestleMania moment.
Ruby Riott getting back in now. And Ruby Riott looking to toss out Dana Brooke. And wait a minute.
Whoa!
Ruby Riott hanging on.
Whoa!
Has been eliminated.
Think your pick is out of there, man.
Wait a minute. Liv
That's
Morgan
two.
has been eliminated.
That's two from the Riot Squad.
One member of the Riot Squad remains. Dana Brooke is fired up.
And Zelina Vega on the back of Dana Brooke. And Dana Brooke.
How fired up is Dana Brooke?
This is awesome.
Oh! Knees right to the back in Zelina Vega.
Zelina wants that same notoriety that she built up for Andrade. Here she comes.
Double knees as we're down to 7 women left in the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal.
Asuka doing work on Mickie James in the corner.
You know, guys, we've been talking about teamwork. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville are still in this. And there goes Zelina Vega. We talk about strength in numbers. And Dana Brooke now trying to power out Mandy Rose, and there's Deville.
What if Dana Brooke walks out winning this entire thing? I picked Sonya, but I don't.
Hang on, DB. No.
Dana Brooke still. Oh, running knee. Dana Brooke.
So fair for me to stick with Sonya Deville at this point. Fair?
And now, Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. We've heard them talk about teamwork in the past. They are obviously in control now of this matchup.
They happen to be on the same page. We'll see if it comes down to the two of them, where they're allegiance.
Wait a minute, Mickie James trying to take out Mandy Rose.
We haven't said much about Mickie James. We're talking about experience. 6-time women's champion.
Future WWE Hall of Famer.
Super kick. Mandy Rose is gone. And so is Mickie James. We are down to 3. 3 superstars remain. Sonya Deville, Asuka, and Sarah Logan of the Riot Squad. Oh! And Asuka first to strike.
Sonya with that hair up, time to square up.
Drop kick takes out Deville. Asuka charges in again. And a 2-for-1 by the Empress of Tomorrow.
Asuka is absolutely relentless. This is her time to shine.
Deville up and over the top rope, still eligible. And now Asuka fighting off Sarah Logan. Who is going to win the second ever WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal? Wait a minute. Deville's been eliminated. Logan dumped down.
Oh my God!
Sarah Logan of the Riot Squad.
Sarah Logan just did it.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Hold on.
Guys.
Oh, boy.
Carmella was never eliminated.
Oh!
One more, Sarah. One more woman stands in your way.
And Logan, can she dispatch of Carmella as a former SmackDown Women's Champion? Hanging on, trying to fight off Logan. Carmella able to wiggle free, and now Logan's up and over the top rope. Sarah Logan holding
Come
on.
on.
In there.
She's right there.
Oh,
Hang
Logan,
on, Sarah.
feet haven't hit. Carmella trying to stop away on the feet, the fingers. Oh, and Logan with one forearm.
Sarah's still in this.
Logan now can she use her power to her advantage? Carmella holding on, both women now up in the air. Sarah Logan, and wait a minute.
Bingo!
Oh, super kick! Logan's out! Carmella is Mania money!
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner of the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal, Carmella!
I told you, Carmella's a woman that's never satisfied. Her name is going to be up in lights in New York City.
unbelievable, this moment for Carmella. We thought Sarah Logan had it in the bag, but this is typical Carmella, something up her sleeve, now walking out WrestleMania on the grandest stage of them all.
Let's take a look back. First here, Mandy Rose was rocking and rolling with Sonya Deville, but then look here, Mandy Rose, boom, eliminated. Mickey then was eliminated.
Now take a look at this right here. Asuka being dumped over the top rope.
And we thought Sarah Logan had won. We thought Sarah Logan was going to get crowned winner of the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal until
Carmella shows up. Trash talking Carmella.
And then right here, bam! That super kick by Carmella wins her the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. And for tonight, here at MetLife Stadium, Mella is Mania money.
Carmella is certainly proving she was money and that there's a whole lot of substance, guys, to go along with that sizzle that she has. What a performance there for Carmella tonight.
It was amazing.
I think
Absolutely amazing.
That's the biggest match she's ever won without anybody helping her.
Well, tonight certainly the women are taking center stage for the first time, an historic main event. When these three women talked about main eventing WrestleMania, let's be honest, I don't know how many people thought this could ever happen. It's gonna happen tonight. And how about both titles on the line? The Raw Women's Championship, the SmackDown Women's Championship. It's Ronda Rousey, it's the Queen Charlotte Flair, and it's the man Becky Lynch, and all three believe they can get the job done tonight. King, you've seen so many WrestleManias. Did you ever believe that we would have this historical match here tonight?
Honestly, no, I didn't. And that's why there's really already a winner before this match even takes place, and it's the women's division here in the WWE. Because this is history-making tonight.
Yeah, I agree. I think
JBO, you know, and especially guys in the business know how important it is to be, I mean, more important than it is to the fans, to be the main event at WrestleMania. And for these three young ladies to do that tonight, it's awesome.
Yeah, careers are defined by this stage. And look, when Ron Simmons first won the heavyweight championship, became the first African-American heavyweight champion, Teddy Long said, this isn't about black history, this is about history. Tonight, it's about history. You know, this is a groundbreaking moment, and they deserve this. But they deserve this irrespective of their gender. I think 20 years from now, people are going to be talking about this match in historical context, not because of their gender, but because of the great competitors that are in that ring.
I think what we've seen is organically Becky Lynch become arguably the biggest star in the WWE right now. And Paige, they have earned this spot. It was not given to them. And I don't think I've heard anybody say, this shouldn't happen. It absolutely should happen.
Oh, I kept saying that for so long too, and I have so much respect for Becky because I've known her since I was 12 years old. Like, we go way back. And just to see her become like one of the biggest stars, like you said, in the WWE right now is such an incredible thing to watch. Like, I get goosebumps thinking about her. Like, she really is fire, legit fire.
That's
She's
exactly
incredible.
right.
You know, I would love to disagree with you, Coach, but this is the exact match that should be the main event.
Let's go into the minds quickly. We got about a minute here before we go into the second hour. We go over live on the USA Network. What do you think, Kingfish, is the mindset now of all three women? Because, yes, they've earned it. Now they got to go out and do it.
I think the mindset of all three women is exactly the same. They want to win, and I think they all think that they may have to do anything it takes to win. My favorite, Becky Lynch, because I'll take it behind the scenes. A couple of weeks ago, she came to me and she said, King, I never knew. She said, I've been watching YouTube videos, looking at the King throw punches, and I want to throw a punch right in Charlotte Flair's face, just like you do. So I'm pulling for Becky Lynch.
JB, you've headlined here before.
I've headlined here before. I've also been in a ton of triple threat matches. You got to be a little bit lucky, but you always have to be around in a triple threat match. So there's a lot of strategy that goes in, much different than, say, Ronda Rousey has ever been used to, where she's come from and what she's done up till now. That's why I give the edge to Charlotte Flair.
Well, Ronda Rousey has said tonight is do or die. Becky Lynch says that she's the man. And Charlotte Flair says, listen, she was destined for this position. We will talk much more about this match coming up in the second hour of the kickoff show. We've got two more great matches in the second hour. Also, we go over live on the USA Network. We're only halfway home. It's the biggest night of the year. It is WrestleMania. It is historic, and we'll see you live right now over on the USA Network as well. Paige, thank you very much for being here.
Yeah, I got got the power, I know the powers that be. Yeah, for these unbelievable dreams, had to do more than it seems. I speak of these things, now I got trophies and rings. This is the victory thing. I got this. I'm ready for the bright lights. Yeah, I'm ready for the highlights. Come on. I'm ready when the date is ready for the naysayers. Ready, baby, this is my life. What you know about that? Work. Hey, you want this? What you know about that? Work. Hey, you want this? Work, but now you do.
And now, WWE Network presents WrestleMania Kickoff.
We are less than an hour away from the most spectacular, awe-inspiring night of the entire year. We are live at MetLife Stadium, the home of the Jets, the home of the Giants, but tonight it's the home of WrestleMania. Over 80,000 fans. You can see them still continuing to fill up this incredible place as we are live on the USA Network and live here at MetLife Stadium. We are into hour number 2. We're less than 60 minutes away from the biggest night of the year. It's special. This is WrestleMania, streaming live tonight exclusively on the WWE Network. I'm your host, The Coach, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific tonight. Free for new subscribers. Go to WWENetwork.com if you haven't already subscribed. Let's meet the panel for our second hour. We've had a cast of thousands. It's been amazing so far. Let's start with, well, the man who's the best dressed man in all the WWE, David Otunga. Hello, sir.
Why, thank you, Coach. It's a great night here. It's WrestleMania, but it's also my birthday.
Happy birthday, sir.
Well, thank you very much.
Wish you could have told us a little bit earlier. We could have got you something. The last professional broadcaster, Sam Roberts from Sirius XM is here. Hello, Sam.
Yeah, Coach, special is not the word. This is WrestleMania, the greatest night in all of sports and entertainment. To be a guest for the WWE here is incredible. It's a night so special that I tied my own bow tie. It's worth it, isn't it, Coach?
It really, really is. There is nobody that knows how to flip the switch when the red light is on at WrestleMania than Mr. WrestleMania himself, a two-time WWE Hall of Famer. And love the tie, the one and only Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
To flip the switch on you. First you're telling him he's best dressed, I put on a tie, I'm mad at you, I'm flipping the switch on that dude who's yelling at me, get out here quick, he's poking stuff in my ears. I've been up here for 30 minutes waiting, and now he's telling me to hurry up.
Well, Shawn, before we get into the incredible night we still have ahead of us, you're called Mr. WrestleMania for a reason.
Mr. High Strung now.
But last night, what an amazing night for you. Being inducted for the second time as part of D-Generation X, that had to be an amazing moment for you guys last night.
It was an awesome night. Anytime Road Dogg, Hunter, Billy, and X-Pac and I get together, it's always fun. We always have a great time. But there was also, a lot of meaning to it. Also, obviously, China, who has been deserving and been long awaited to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, and we are very honored. We were very honored last night to have her inducted along with D-Generation X. So it was a ton of fun, but it was also a very special night for all of us.
We can't wait to get your input on WrestleMania as a whole, and also two of your best friends, Triple H and Batista. We'll get into that in just a little bit. It is a really, really special night tonight. WrestleMania live on the WWE Network. Go to WWENetwork.com. It is free for new subscribers. Again, we are less than 60 minutes away as the countdown continues. It is also an honor to be the host of this great event. And here tonight, well, she's one of the great Raw Women's Champions of all time, one of the great Women's Evolution, which are forwards, I guess is the way to put it. Alexa Bliss will be the host tonight of WrestleMania. She is excited to have this job. Let's go through the incredible card tonight. Shawn, let's start with Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins Universal Championship.
That's exactly right. For the Universal Championship, the immovable Brock Lesnar facing the up-and-comer, and he is the man, Seth Rollins.
Well, Kofi Mania is in full effect, baby! Taken 11 years, he's overcome gauntlet matches and every other obstacle that's been put in front of him. Tonight, Kofi Kingston will battle the new Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship.
Tonight's the night. The last time we see Kurt Angle in a ring, it's Kurt Angle's farewell match against an opponent that's controversial to say the least, Baron Corbin.
And then we have a huge fatal four-way match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Sasha Banks and Bayley will defend against a team of Beth Phoenix and Natalya, the Iconics, and the destructive team of Nia Jax and Tamina.
It's become a staple here at WrestleMania, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. It was, I'm sure, a good idea when Colin Jost and Michael Che of Saturday Night Live said, you know what, we want to be a part of it. We want to get in there and feel what it's like to be inside of a WWE ring. I wonder how they're feeling right about now when they see all these faces that are going to be gunning for them here later tonight.
It's going to be brutality. Tonight, Bobby Lashley, speaking of brutality, looks to defend the Intercontinental Championship. He comes across as unbeatable, but tonight he faces a force he's never faced before, and that force is the Demon.
And the match has become deeply personal. You have former tag team champions, The Miz and Shane McMahon. They've become bitter rivals after Shane assaulted The Miz's father. Tonight, The Miz looks to get retribution in a Falls Count Anywhere match.
And this is one that's going to be special. I'm going to have my eye on the phenomenal one, AJ Styles, taking on the Viper, Randy Orton.
The Usos walking out of WrestleMania with their SmackDown Tag Team Championship is going to be no easy feat as they defend against Ricochet and Aleister Black, The Bar, and Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev.
And of course tonight, the inspiring comeback of Roman Reigns culminates right here at WrestleMania, but he is facing the tough, the Scottish psychopath, Drew McIntyre.
And next is a match we weren't sure we were going to be able to see. Rey Mysterio has been battling injury, but he's here tonight and ready to go. Rey Mysterio will challenge Samoa Joe for the United States Championship.
And of course, history being made tonight. Winner takes all. A triple threat match for the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championship. The Rowdy Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch and the Queen Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, all this week in New York City, everybody's been talking about this historical main event for the very first time, and these three women have earned it. We'll talk more about that throughout the hour. Once again, WrestleMania streaming live only on the WWE Network in less than 60 minutes, 7 o'clock 4 Eastern. Well, I'll tell you what, it is one of those nights where you can pick your favorite match, and careers will be altered. But two of the greatest careers in the history of the WWE will clash here tonight, with one of those careers on the line. Triple H, The Game, one of the greatest of all time. His former good friend, Dave Batista, well, he attacked Ric Flair to get his attention. And get his attention, he did. Sean, I want to start with you. You know these two guys maybe better than anybody. Did you ever imagine in a million years we would see this come to this with Triple H's in-ring career on the line tonight?
Well, so, you know, they've always gotten along, but it's one of those things that tends to happen. So you've got somebody that sees talent. They take them under the wing, they bring them up, and after a while you begin to see them as equals, as a peer. And Dave is somebody that has always felt like Hunter has kept him down, which is unbelievable to me. I mean, Dave Batista, a 6-time world champion, all that success, and still feels that Triple H has kept him down and keeping him from success. Somebody help me make sense of
Well,
that.
I mean, let's talk about reality for a second. It's not like that's the first time that we've heard somebody say that Triple H has held them back.
Yeah.
Throughout his entire career, he's been accused of holding people down. He put me at this table. He's treated me well, but let's be honest, that's because I have a radio show, and I can go on the radio show and talk about how great he is tonight.
Look, I will say this. Look, in Dave's defense, now look, try to understand this. You can leave this line of work. I am here to tell you, if you don't leave on your own terms, and what makes you
That's
happy
exactly
with
right.
peace in your heart, it will bother you. I got news for you. Dave's had success somewhere else, but he didn't leave here on his own terms. And as far as he's concerned, perception is reality. He perceives that Triple H has held him down.
Yeah.
That's all he needs.
I think it comes down to like big brother and little brother mentality. And Dave sees himself as the younger brother. He always wants to prove himself. He wants to prove that he's better than Triple H. Sure, he's had great success in Hollywood, but still, he wants to come here and leave no doubt that he's better than Triple H.
Did you hear that ridiculous interview that Michael Cole did with Batista? Michael Cole saying, well, Triple H has always treated me well. Triple H is in Michael Cole's headset. We watched Michael Cole last night get wedgies from Triple H.
You just said the same thing.
I said he's treating me well because I have a radio show and he knows I can talk about it.
Hey, I got news for you. He stood next to me, get famous, and now I work for him. It's just one of those things.
Hold on, but
you either learn to deal with
that,
it like a man or you don't.
Sorry, there's something we haven't addressed yet, and that's Dave wanted Triple H to put his career on the line. You can attest to this. You know how important, that's like Triple H's heart. So they're going to have a no-holds-barred match because he's going to do whatever it takes to win and make sure he wrestles another day.
To Sean's point, Dave wants to end Triple H's career just like he thought Triple H ended his in-ring career. All right, plenty more on that match coming up. Let's sit it down to ringside. Michael Cole and the crew.
Nonetheless, Sam Roberts can say whatever he wants, but I'm at ringside at MetLife Stadium for WrestleMania. WWE Network across all social media platforms. And, of course, we're at home on the USA Network. Corey Graves, Renee Young, and myself, Monday Night Raw every Monday night. Renee, this is your very first WrestleMania at ringside.
No pressure, right? It's going to be fine? I'm so excited. I cannot believe that this is happening right
now. And we're going to kick things off right here for, well, our end of things with the Raw Tag Team titles.
Top guys doing top guy things.
The following contest is a tag team match scheduled for one fall, and it is for the Raw Tag Team Championship! Introducing first, at a combined weight of 446 pounds, they are the Raw Tag Team Champions, Scott Dawson, Dash Wilder, The Revival!
And the WrestleMania kickoff show tonight is presented by the Grubhub Delivery app. We invite you to use the app and choose from over 100,000 restaurants nationwide. Use code WrestleMania and get $10 off your first delivery order of $15 or more. Grubhub, restaurants you love, delivered.
Graves, I'll send you something good down later when you're hungry.
The Revival to defend the Raw Tag Team titles here tonight on the WrestleMania kickoff show. And there are Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, the current Raw Tag Team Champions. Corey, weren't expecting a match tonight until earlier in the week.
The Revival have been lobbying. They've been willing and able to defend their Raw Tag Team Championships for the weeks leading up to WrestleMania. They know they belong on the grandest stage of them all, and they're ready to defend.
And their opponents. First, Curt Hawkins!
Will the 269-match losing streak end tonight at WrestleMania?
Could you imagine what would happen here at MetLife Stadium? We've got these two New York boys, tried, tested, and true, to test their mettle against the best in the Revival. This could be it for Curt Hawkins.
Partner, Zack Ryder!
Zack Ryder growing up in Merrick, New York on Long Island. Curt Hawkins growing up in Glen Cove nearby.
Just because you grew up in a town doesn't mean you're any better at what you got to do. Recent history would tell you Curt Hawkins is on a legendary losing streak. Zack Ryder hasn't exactly been setting the world on fire. The Revival are going to take him apart.
But what if this streak ends tonight, Graves? You're telling me you wouldn't have a celebration about that? That's huge.
No, I have no emotional connection to New York City.
You don't have an emotional connection to this story of Zack Ryder and Curt Hawkins?
Absolutely not.
Oh, man, you got no soul.
Meanwhile, I've watched the evolution of the Revival from the top tag team in NXT to the Raw Tag Team Champions.
Well, normally Curt Hawkins will come to the ring wearing the colors of the New York Mets. He decided to change things up tonight and go, well, with green, a color of his other favorite team here in New York, the NFL's New York Jets.
Gotta represent the Jets out there.
No. That's simply because no one in this stadium even knows who Curt Hawkins is, so he figures he'll get some cheap sympathy by dressing like the football team.
Hawkins and Ryder asked for this opportunity in their own backyard tonight. Initially, the Revival laughed at them and then accepted the match. They thought it was an April Fool's joke. So here we go. Curt Hawkins will start things off against Scott Dawson. Well, curious strategy, Corey, considering Hawkins has lost 269 straight matches.
Well, listen, I'm not sure what their strategy is. I hope for Hawkins' sake it's completely different than what he's been working with for the past 269 matches.
Dawson saying Zack Ryder's a bit better than Hawkins. Ryder, of course, won a a championship at WrestleMania a number of years ago.
I just want to bring up the point, sure, at some point, Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, very successful superstars, but you can't coast on your past accomplishments forever. You wouldn't call Doc Gooden in to pitch for the Mets today in 2019, would you? Just because he was good back then.
Ryder and Hawkins are here turning over a new leaf. They're doing it here at WrestleMania. This could be their moment. Like you said, I mean, Zack Ryder's been successful at WrestleMania in the past.
Yeah, won a United States Championship a few years back. Meanwhile, Hawkins and Ryder, once known as the Major Brothers, were tag team champions. Remember the rated R entourage, the Edgeheads, Corey?
It's just like Shawn Michaels was talking about. You stand in someone famous's shadow and your star rises.
And Dawson will lock up now. Hawkins, there's the side headlock takedown by Scott Dawson. No doubt to what Corey was talking about earlier, though. Perhaps the Revival, the most pure tag team in WWE today. Dawson controlling Hawkins with the Raw Tag Team titles up for grabs. This indeed a Raw Tag Team Championship match. It's the Revival defending against Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. And Hawkins and Ryder's backyard here in New Jersey, both brought up across the river over in Long Island.
Kurt Hawkins has his whole family here, his wife, his daughter, his mom, his dad.
Oh, roll up by Dawson.
Down now, almost had him kick out by Hawkins.
Zack Ryder has his new fiance here.
And we are under 45 minutes to go for WrestleMania. Sold out crowd of over 80,000 WWE fans expected at MetLife Stadium. Corey and I have been getting a ton of grief over the past couple of weeks on social media.
I refuse to acknowledge the actual location of MetLife Stadium.
Yeah, the shadow of New York City. For those of us caught up in the Jersey area, East Rutherford, of course, but nonetheless, it's Dawson backing Ryder into the corner. The Revival is so good as a tag team. Barely surviving, though, this past Monday night on Raw.
You hear that?
Against Black and Ricochet.
This is where the Revival are going to want to implement their standard game plan. Cut the ring in half, isolate their opponent, and pick them apart. Here comes the heavy-handed Dash Wilder.
Wilder with a big chop, dropping Zack Ryder to the mat. Ryder as tough as they come. You don't want to get in a fight with this young man.
Dash Wilder would disagree at the moment. Knees up just in time. Ryder from the second row.
Missile drop kick by Zack. And Zack Ryder looking to pull off what many would consider somewhat of a miracle tonight if they could beat the Revival. Again, great tag team action by the Revival.
The mishap there for Ryder.
That was great ring awareness by the Revival. Great teamwork.
I mean, just to be here tonight at WrestleMania, Hawkins and Ryder is so grateful to be a part of this matchup.
And see, that's where the Revival differ. This isn't about being grateful to be able to be at WrestleMania. It's about performing at the highest level possible, proving you're the best tag team in the game.
Great leg drop by Dawson, follows it up with a headbutt, and suddenly the Revival have completely taken over. Tag made, Wilder's gonna head up top, double team again by the tag team champions. Elbow delivered right to the chest to retain the gold here at the WrestleMania kickoff show, and Ryder at 2.
Loser! Hey, come on. Stay in your corner and lose like you do.
Strong words from Dash Wilder, growing more and more confident.
I think Dash and Dawson are getting ready to celebrate in New York City tonight.
The Revival don't strike me as a New York City type.
Well, that's where we are. You don't really have a choice. There's still pubs here.
And Wilder in control of Ryder. Zack
Prying at the arm of Zack Wilder, or Zack Ryder, Dash Wilder.
Yeah, quite the hybrid athlete.
I was thinking of Zack Wilder, one of my favorite rock bands. It's crazy.
Up over the top, tag made. Dawson is now the legal man. Oh! Dawson covered. So quick, and a kick out by Ryder. That smash mouth in your style of face of Scott Dawson. Loves to talk trash.
And Dawson and Wilder spend as much time beating their opponents verbally as they do physically, not just raking at the face of Zack Ryder. I'm sure his new fiance appreciates that, Renee.
Touche. I'm sure she's watching closely.
Revival are so excited to be a part of the Hall of Fame ceremony last night and watch legendary tag teams like the Hart Foundation be inducted. Harlem Heat, of course, any combination of D-Generation X.
Harlem Heat talked about how much respect they had for the Revival by name. One of the top tag teams, if not the best tag team in the business right now.
I wonder if Booker's going to become a 3-time Hall of Famer as G.I. Bro next year. Oh, and there's the suplex by Ryder. And can he make a tag to Hawkins? Wilder, though.
So quickly.
And here's Dash Wilder, cover on Ryder. Hooks the leg and a kick out by Zach. And the Revival thus far dominating. And Kurt Hawkins realizes he's got to somehow make some sort of tag to get into this matchup.
Absolutely seamless teamwork from Dawson and Wilder. Focusing on the left shoulder and elbow of Zach Ryder.
Kurt Hawkins looks like he's a little defeated already. He's got to amp up the energy a little bit.
Wilder trying to wrestle Zach back towards.
Oh, man! This could be an opening for Zach.
Yeah, Ryder able to perhaps create some separation here. Tag made to Dawson.
Almost instinctively making the tag to Scott Dawson with the interception. Beautiful.
And now the double team.
Chemistry at its finest. Wait a minute.
Oh! The double neck breaker. Can he make a tag to Kurt Hawkins? And now Zach Ryder trying to dig down deep, trying to crawl somehow toward his partner, Kurt Hawkins.
Scott Dawson's too quick.
Oh, great move by Dawson.
That is ring awareness. That is a veteran cagey maneuver by Scott Dawson. And here we go.
Zach Ryder just getting lit up.
And now Wilder is in. And will continue what has been a barrage against Ryder. And Hawkins upset. Cover now. Hook of the leg. Official was dealing with Hawkins and it allowed Ryder to kick out at 2.
Hawkins had better be careful he doesn't get his own team disqualified because of his emotions.
Well, think about the frustration. Think about the frustration as well, Corey. 269 straight losses. Got to be eating up this man inside.
Better keep his cool. He's going to jump on that NQR all the way back to Queens.
Oh! Dawson sliding elbow to the back of the neck.
How you doing, broski?
And the Revival always talking trash, getting in their heads of their opponents. Dawson uses 4 of the 5 count. Oh, and Dawson clubbing blow again to the back of the neck.
Hey, Hawkins, get back now.
Say it all the time. The greatest tag teams in history are always on the same page. Dash and Dawson, not even in the same sentence. They're in the same syllable.
Tag again to Wilder. Double team coming from the Revival. Zach Ryder is down and out to retain the Raw Tag Team titles and a near fall. 2 count that time for Wilder.
I think it's just elementary at this point. It's a matter of time. The Revival are toying with Zach Ryder. Kurt Hawkins luckily can use his New York Jets gear next time he comes to a game. Maybe he can sit by the guy in the fire helmet.
It's a bummer. I talked to Zach earlier today. He had this light in his eyes to be a part of WrestleMania.
And Wilder's snapmare and oh, and a straight kick right to the spine.
A thud.
Nothing pretty about the Revival.
Absolutely not. Rough and rugged style. Knock you down and pick you apart.
Less than 38 minutes remain in the WrestleMania kickoff show. WrestleMania begins top of the hour. Over 80,000 WWE fans expected sold out here tonight at MetLife Stadium.
It is filling up in here quick. It's getting louder and louder. The energy getting greater and greater. It's a matter of time before the greatest night in live entertainment. I cannot wait.
Zach Ryder keeps just trying to get a little bit of momentum, but Dash just keeps tossing him back down to the mat.
And the technique of Dawson and Wilder is unparalleled, especially on Monday Night Raw, if not in all of WWE.
I mean, Ryder and Hawkins, they've been friends since they were...
Oh! Yeah, Renee,
met back in 2000.
Renee, you and I are friends. We're not going to be tag team champions, okay? Totally different scenario.
Dawson again.
Whoa!
For another interception, but Hawkins makes the tag. Kurt Hawkins is now legal. And Hawkins fired up, going right after the Revival.
Hawkins levels Dawson.
Drop kick. Kurt Hawkins was able to make the tag and has been a house of fire against the tag team champions, the Revival. Backslide to win the gold here tonight, and a kick out at 2.
We could see the streak end tonight for Kurt Hawkins.
Yeah, and if the streak ends, we'll crown new tag team champions from Monday Night Raw. Another 2 count. This time Wilder gets blasted. Dawson looks to turn it around.
Oh, Hawkins is not playing.
Dash Wilder got dropped.
Yeah, the overhead kick by Hawkins, and now Scott Dawson. Hold up, shoulders are down. Almost had him near fall. Looked like Hawkins was looking for his partner, but Zack Ryder, who absorbed a ton of punishment, nowhere to be found on the apron. Double man down center of the ring, big collision.
It has been a decade since Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins held the tag titles here in WWE. This could change the course for them tonight.
Tag made. Ryder's legal as you take another look at the collision. And now Zack Ryder measuring his man, perhaps looking for the Rough Rider to try to put Dawson away.
Dawson saw it coming, able to counter. Point of the elbow to the jaw.
Second rope, down goes Dawson. Here comes Wilder.
Backhand from Ryder, stopped. Wilder!
Oh my God!
Oh man!
Tumble over the top rope and hit hard. Ryder hit hard on the back of his neck. And Kurt Hawkins looking on and realizes his tag team partner Zack Ryder's in trouble. Has to get him back in the ring so Zack can make some sort of tag here. Tag made. Hawkins is legal.
Brilliant move by Hawkins.
On Dawson. Hook of the leg. Isn't enough here. Oh, and it's Dash Wilder pulling Hawkins off the near fall.
Tornado DDT by Dash Wilder on the floor.
Here by Hawkins.
Launch into the apron.
And now Dawson with a
brain buster
right on the floor outside the ring.
Forget it.
Down.
And if everyone gets counted out, the Revival will retain because of the champion's advantage.
Bodies are everywhere. The official on a count of 5 after this brain buster to Hawkins. Dawson back to his feet, count of 7 now.
Dawson wants to beat him fair and square
Why
in the middle of the ring.
It's WrestleMania. And the count will stop. Both men beating the count back in the ring. Tied.
Kurt Hawkins has not moved since suffering the brain buster.
Getting some love from the WWE Universe for Kurt Hawkins.
He needs love, he needs smelling salts.
The Let's Go Hawkins chants filling MetLife Stadium.
I think they're saying, go home, Hawkins.
I don't think they were saying that, but nonetheless, Kurt Hawkins is in deep, deep trouble. The official checking on Kurt. I don't think Kurt...
I don't know
Kurt's
if Hawkins can even compete. Just call the match, ref.
Dawson looks like he's enjoying this one.
A wicked brainbuster outside the ring, and Hawkins has not been right since.
No.
Here's shoulders down. On Dawson. New tag team champions. The streak's over.
Here are your winners and the new Raw Tag Team Champions, Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins.
It was one of the most infamous records in WWE history. 269 straight losses, but it's over tonight. Hawkins and Ryder are the new tag team champions.
There's got to be some kind of mistake. I can't believe that just happened.
There's magic in the air tonight. New tag team champs.
A New York state of mind for the hometown guys. Ryder and Hawkins, the new tag team champions.
What a moment. 2 titles have now changed hands here on the Kickoff Show. Is that a sign of things to come? Thanks for joining us here on the USA Network. You can hear the over 80,000 plus. They are ready. Listen in now to Charlie Caruso, Pat McAfee, guys.
Did my eyes just deceive me? Did Kurt Hawkins just get a win?
Whoa! 269 straight L's, picks up a W on the grandest stage of them all. What a night for Kurt
We
Hawkins.
already know this night is going to be epic, going to get even more so. Now I want to bring in another guest. He's one of the co-hosts of American Ninja Warrior. Let me say this right. Akbar, Baja, Biamila.
You got it.
I got
You
it.
got it. Yeah, you know, this is such a great night. You talk about the best night in sports entertainment. This is it. I'm so excited to be here. This is my first WrestleMania.
Akbar, you host and commentate on a show that's been nominated for 3 Emmys. It's the #1 summer primetime show, and your electricity is what carries that show with Matt. What do you call back to? Are you a wrestling fan from heart, not just what you try to relay?
Well, you know what? To be honest with you, that's where it came from. My inspiration came from the WWE.
as a little kid, listening to the commentators make all of these crazy calls, and I wanted to bring that same energy to American Ninja Warrior, and I think that's what's carried the show, but man, this is a great night.
Akbar, what are you most looking forward to tonight?
Well, I'm looking forward to the main event. I mean, you talk about Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, that's a great one, and let's not forget, Andre the Giant Memorial Royal Rumble, that's going to be big time.
It is going to be big time. We have so many great matches to look forward to tonight. One of those being for the Universal Championship. We got Seth Rollins, he's the architect, already the Kingslayer. Tonight he aims to become the Beast Slayer in his quest to take down Brock Lesnar.
Charlie, thank you very much. Certainly Seth Rollins has all the swagger and the confidence to get the job done. But confidence is one thing. Actually slaying the Beast is completely another. Tonight, the Universal Championship is on the line, and you got to believe that Seth Rollins, somewhere in this incredible stadium, is having a moment by himself because he understands that the mountain he's about to climb has never been bigger in Brock Lesnar. Let's bring in now our two-time WWE Hall of Famer, our good friend, of course, Booker T, to the panel. Let's see those rings, baby.
Look at all that.
Right there.
Look at all that gold.
Congratulations, sir. Last night, part of Harlem Heat. What an incredible night for you. But tonight is about tonight. And when you look at Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins, what does Seth have to do to get the job done?
I mean, come on, Seth, he punched his own ticket, man. I mean, outlasting 29 men in the 2019 Royal Rumble. Hey, that right there says it all, but he's on collision course with the Beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar. And Brock Lesnar has a little extra momentum going into this match, having a chance to slay each member of the Shield, with Seth Rollins being the final one. I tell you, it's going to be good.
David, you've been in the ring before, never with Brock Lesnar. You have to understand, Seth Rollins has a 0% chance of winning this match tonight.
What are you talking about?
No, it's definitely not zero. Let's not forget, Seth Rollins was the architect of the Shield. That means he was the brains. He was the strategist. That's what he's going to need to beat Brock Lesnar. That being said, it's easier said than done. It's going to have to take a well-executed plan.
All right, let's end it right there. It's time for one of our favorite moments of the year. You hear the music, you hear the crowd. Let's send it back down ringside for a moment.
Well, we are set for the 6th consecutive Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal here on a WrestleMania kickoff at MetLife Stadium. And welcome back to ringside, Tom Phillips and Byron Saxton from SmackDown Live. 205 Live's Aiden English. Byron, are you ready for the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal?
I am beyond ready. We've already seen a new Cruiserweight champion. We've seen new Raw Tag Team champions. I'm ready for some more history.
Not to mention Carmella winning the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal earlier tonight.
The following is the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal! In this match, eliminations will occur when a superstar is thrown over the top rope with both feet hitting the floor. The last man in the ring will be declared the winner! Introducing first, from Saturday Night Live fame, Michael Che and Colin Jost!
First of all, does Colin Jost have a death wish? He's wearing an Odell Beckham Jr. Browns jersey in the MetLife Stadium, the home of Beckham's former team, the Giants.
Let's just start a hashtag right now, everyone. Hashtag pray for Jost and Che.
Meanwhile, Colin Jost, rather Michael Che's got his headgear on at least.
Are you kidding me? Of course he knows what he's doing. Any good entertainer knows how to interact with the crowd. He knows exactly the reaction he wants. I want to know, these two guys have their own freaking screen. That's crazy.
Well, how do they know what they're doing? Because they've incited the monster among men, Braun Strowman. They tried to appease him, Byron. They tried to send Braun Strowman a car. That didn't work. He tore it to shreds, and now they've got to square it with Strowman in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
To the ring, Matt and Jeff, the Hardy Boys!
Jost and Che in a situation they are absolutely not prepared for, and I am sorry for what may happen to their health, but here are two men who are prepared. You got Matt Hardy, who actually won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal last year, and a tremendous opportunity for his brother Jeff as well.
Can Matt bring home the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal trophy for a second consecutive year?
Grubhub delivery app? If you want it all, you can get it all. Get $10 off on your first order. Grubhub, restaurants you love delivered.
The WrestleMania kickoff continues here at MetLife Stadium. Over 80,000 WWE fans expected on hand, sold out here in the shadows of New York City. And before the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal kicks off here at ringside, we headed back to our panel.
All right, Tom, thanks, guys. Well, as all these superstars are in the ring ready for this Andre the Giant Battle Royal, you got to believe that for Colin Jost and Michael Che, you saw them walking down very, very slowly. I think this is bigger than they expected.
I don't think they knew what they were getting into. I mean, yeah, everybody wants to come and compete at WrestleMania, the greatest stage of them all. Sure, it sounds awesome. So you get punched in the face. Over the top rope.
Let me just tell it like this. I hope these two guys get the hell beat out of them and ship back to where they came from. That's just the way I see it. This right here is a moment for one of these WWE superstars to make a moment for themselves. A win here at WrestleMania, you punch your own ticket. These guys don't need to be here, man. That's just my opinion.
As a Hall of Famer, is it disrespectful that Colin Jost and Michael Che are taking the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal?
It's two spots right there that's taken that two guys in the locker room can have, that they can be making a moment for themselves. I wish I had a chance to get my hands on this.
Hey, Booker, you're a big golf guy. This is kind of like a sponsor's exemption, if you will, into a big event.
Kind of like what Tiger Woods used to get all the time, but now you look at Tiger Woods, he got to earn his spot.
Right, but they're not taking two spots away from anybody. There's plenty of room in that ring for everybody. They just added them. They didn't take two spots away from anybody.
Booker, what if they win? What if one of these two...
Now there's zero chance of that. Okay. They got added, they're going to be subtracted just as fast.
But if they did win, just to make the argument, if they did win, would you two take back what you're saying and say, you know what? I didn't think they should be here, but they won. Clearly they deserve it.
No, I'm not. No. You know what? If it's it's like a slip between a cup and a lip, okay? It's not going to happen tonight. These guys are not going to win. I hope it happens quick, you know what I mean, and painless. And get these guys back.
There's some dumb questions, and then there's a question that Sam just asked you.
All right, I'll take that one. I'll take the L on that.
I think to Booker's point, we've seen other celebrities come into our world and try to make a name for themselves.
Yeah.
And we just hope, because we're compassionate people, that they walk in and they walk out.
Right.
Because there's some big boys in there that would love to get their hands on them.
Do you hope that they walk out?
You guys can be compassionate all you want. You know what I mean? But I don't come from that side of town. You know what I mean? I'm serious. You know, my thing is this. They stepped inside the square circle. My mama used to say one thing to me all the time. She used to say, Junior, you big enough to pass a lick, you big enough to take one. I hope these guys are big enough to take that lick tonight.
All right, very good. Let's keep it right there. The boys are ready, and they are set to go. Let's get ready for the Battle Royal. Send it back down to ringside and Tom Phillips. Guys.
Yeah, the ring is full of WWE superstars for the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Hey, in English, you've been in this. It's about to get crazy.
Absolutely. Think about a Royal Rumble, but the Royal Rumble all happening at one time. You get no break. That mass of humanity is always there.
And tonight, WrestleMania is presented by Snickers. You're not you when you're hungry. Snickers satisfies. And here comes the monster everyone is talking about leading up to this match.
And weighing in at 385 pounds, Braun Strowman!
So Che and Jost are screwed, right? They're dead. They're done.
That's a nice way to put it.
They're never going to do Weekend Update again. We will never see them on Saturday Night Live fame again.
They're just lucky that they have to sit down for their job because they're not going to be able to stand for a month.
Well, listen, I feel sorry for Michael Che. He didn't want to be part of this. Well, look at the shape that Braun Strowman is in walking towards the ring. That is what it's all about on the road to WrestleMania.
Spoke to Rumble, cut to Mania, and he took that to the nth degree. What a physique.
Now, Byron, traditionally in over-the-top rope battle royals, again, you have to throw a superstar over the top rope until both feet touch the floor to be eliminated. Last man standing is winning. Traditionally, larger superstars are targets.
Uh-oh. Get him, Braun. Get him. Oh, come on.
Wait a minute. Did Che and Jost crawl under the bottom rope?
Yes, look at him.
They crawled under the ring.
That's actually very smart.
Yeah, smart, but cowardly. Not satisfying.
Wait a minute. Oh! Lince Dorado used all his 9 lives there. I believe there's another elimination. One member of the B team.
This is fast and furious right off the bat.
As we mentioned before, Aiden, you've been in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal twice. Tyler Breeze is gone.
That's right. This is
EC3
It
gone.
happens that fast. You got to keep 6 eyes in the back of your head.
There's Shelton Benjamin, I believe. It's Braun Strowman who's doing all the clearing house.
Dropping like flies in this match.
There goes Bo Dallas.
Braun Strowman's, staring down Harper.
Baby.
The returning Harper.
They say Luke Harper taught him everything he knows.
Once former brothers in the Wyatt family, but now swarmed by the rest of the field here at WrestleMania. And the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal continues. Braun Strowman came into this fight looking to get a piece of Michael Che and Colin Jost of Saturday Night Live fame, but right now it's anybody's game.
We're seeing a lot of superstars in the corner ganging up on Braun Strowman. Smart strategy. Give yourself the best chance to eliminate the favorite.
Near side, Heath Slater near. Oh, Heath Slater! Ooh!
Those kids aren't going to be happy.
Not Heath. He's the Cal Ripken of this thing, man. He's been in every one.
And he's been eliminated from everyone.
Clearly.
And now it's Harper trying to get rid of Apollo Crews. Bobby Roode trying to help out. Titus O'Neil looking for another elimination on Ali.
This is Titus's 5th.
Oh, there goes Titus.
I'm going to say 5th Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and, well, 5th time he's lost.
Ali giving up a lot of size in this match, but as we've seen, he's got a ton of heart. And a lot of fight.
Ali matching up with a larger No Way Jose, and the satellite DDT out of the corner.
What a great story of redemption this would be for Ali.
And No Way Jose is gone. And think about what this matchup has meant to former winners.
Did you see that? Heavy Machinery just lifted Braun Strowman and dropped him dead center of the ring. Not many people do that.
That's Heavy Machinery for you.
Think about who's won this. We mentioned Matt Hardy won the Battle Royal last year.
And Strowman went through the ropes. Through the ropes, he is not eliminated.
Names like The Big Show, Baron Corbin have all been able to hoist that trophy up here at WrestleMania.
Now Mojo Rawley as well back in 2017. Oh, and there's Carl Anderson over the top rope. He's eliminated.
Good brother out.
Oh, somebody just uncorked one. I believe Kalisto and Andrade are tying up, and here comes Grand Metalik, also the Lucha House Party, trying to help out.
Grand Metalik, this is his very first Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Twist of fate. Rhino knows the Hardys all too well, and now the Hardys work together to get rid of Rhino.
I want to know what's going to happen if this thing comes down to Matt and Jeff Hardy.
The same can be said for Heavy Machinery, Bobby Roode and Chad Gable, the Ascension.
A lot of teams in this. They work together only for so long.
The former Raw Tag Team Champions, Gable and Roode working together. Roode misses in the corner, and now Matt Hardy, as we mentioned, last year's winner, trying to set it up. Poetry in motion.
Hardy's working awfully good together as expected. Bobby Roode, goodbye.
Less than glorious exit.
Apollo Crews trying to get Victor the Ascension out. There goes Grand Metalik.
That was highly uncomfortable to watch.
That was high. Did you see how far he fell?
That too.
It was a trajectory, really. Went for the Salida Del Sol and a back elbow by Andrade.
Oh my.
Andrade tossing Kalisto out. That was creative.
Took out Grand Metalik again.
And now the German suplexes here by Chad Gable, not letting go of Andrade. DeAndre the Giant Memorial. Just watch Chad Gable get eliminated by Andrade. The field is beginning to thin.
So many guys who I know are such well-conditioned athletes have already been eliminated. This has been madness.
And there's Tucker of Heavy Machinery. And he's calling.
Wait a second. Hold on.
Wait, now?
Sit back. Enjoy it. It's the Caterpillar.
WrestleMania. Oh my God. Double Caterpillar.
What did I just watch?
My life is complete.
And there goes both members of the Ascension, Connor and Victor.
Heavy Machinery making a statement.
Hey, wait a minute. Braun Strowman just slipped back in. Remember, he went through the ropes earlier on. He's not been eliminated.
Good grief.
A monstrous drop kick, and now goes 650 pounds of Heavy Machinery.
Talk about statements, Byron. This what I thought was a dangerous move. I know they put him through the post, but he had that time to recover, and now he's here to clean house.
This is a statement of dominance right now by Strowman. Watch Ali.
Wait a minute. Harper tied up with Ali along the ropes. Ali trying to hold on for all he's got.
He's wiggling.
That is the danger of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. There goes Jinder Mahal, a runner-up from a few years ago in this matchup.
Harper going again, trying for that suplex again.
And Strowman got them both right in front of us.
My gosh.
Watch this one more time. Harper was going for a nasty suplex. Instead, boom! A boot by Strowman takes them both out. I believe Strowman has set the record for most eliminations in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
No kidding, mid-suplex. Good.
Look at this face-off here. The Hardys now targeting Strowman.
Andrade trying to take care of Apollo Crews. Opposite side. Down to 5 superstars left inside the ring.
Well, now 2 are on the outside. Dangerous time to be there.
Curious part of town.
And now the Hardys teaming up on Strowman. Oh, and Andrade eliminated himself. Getting rid of Crews.
Jeff Hardy barely hanging on.
Jeff Hardy over the top rope, back inside. Thought about the twist of fate.
Both guys on him. This is dangerous territory. Come on, trying to pull them over together.
Almost got him. They got a pull.
He's still too big.
Matt and Jeff trying to work together.
Wait a minute.
Come on.
We forgot.
No.
We forgot about Shane Jost.
Hold on a second.
Don't you dare. This would be a disgrace.
Oh, they're trying to screw Braun Strowman's chances here in this match.
No way.
No way. WrestleMania.
Whoa!
Oh, thank goodness.
And the monster, he eliminated the Hardys.
Oh my goodness.
Here we go. Finally, best part of the match.
Any final wishes, boys?
You want to waltz into our business, you're going to get those hands.
Braun. Braun, there are other solutions. Not everything has to end in violence, right? That's why I've invited here my therapist. I want you guys to work through some of this anger.
Strowman's not big on therapy sessions.
Braun, will you smash this quack? Oh! Uh-oh. Oh!
There's your therapist!
Get him! What?
Yeah, smart move, Jay. Get out of there.
Jay's trying to eliminate himself, and
You're gonna get away scot-free, did you?
oh!
for coming. Goodbye.
Roman eliminates Michael Che. We are down to 2.
Ghost is all alone with the monster among men.
Oh, and Strowman went in hard with a big boot, and Jost was able to avoid it. Jost at the monster. Jost is trying to eliminate Strowman. Crazier things have happened. Jost, can he muscle him over?
You gotta be kidding me.
Jost
can't happen.
Jost is trying to protect his life here. Oh, nearly eliminated the monster among men. Oh no!
Here's what
this is it.
Time to pay for your sins there, Jost.
Show them what we do to intruders.
Jost is eliminated. Strowman wins the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle
Here is
Royal.
your winner of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, Braun Strowman.
Well, we expected Jey and Jost to get these hands, and we expected Strowman to be the favorite. And every expectation was delivered.
Walking in the footsteps of another incredible giant, the Hall of Famer, Andre the Giant. Strowman wins at WrestleMania.
Well, the kickoff show continues, and guys, I got to give Colin Jost a lot of credit. He gave it everything he has. Maybe the first time we've ever seen a therapist at WrestleMania, but at the end of the day, Braun Strowman, the clear-cut favorite, got the job done.
I think Sam was excited. He thought he was going to be right there for a second.
I love being right. You know that, David.
Yeah, well, it didn't happen.
I can't see that. He did have a plan. He did have a plan. And I can say this, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Hey, speaking of plans, explain to me. You guys would know this better than me. This makes no sense to me. How could Andrade do something so stupid in that battle royal as to eliminate himself?
You know, I don't think it was stupid. Andrade, he went for a move and actually it didn't come off the way he planned for it to come off. He actually thought he was... I don't want to go off into it, but it just didn't go off the way he thought it was going to.
I don't understand how.
Also, sometimes emotions run high. You have a guy in there you have a personal rivalry with. Hey, sometimes you don't want him to win, and so you'll even take yourself out if you have to.
I really don't think Andrade is just like an acrobat. I'm going to tell you, this guy is one of the best in the business, and I think it was a timing issue more than anything else. I really do.
Do you feel better seeing Michael Che and Colin Jost get their butts whooped across the ring?
The brother did the right thing.
Yeah, he did. He did.
The brother was high stepping too.
Yeah.
What did we say tonight? You never know until you get slapped in the mouth. Well, Michael Che just got slapped in the mouth, and I guarantee you next year in Tampa, we're not going to see those two guys showing up.
Hey,
I can promise you that.
Big props to him, though. I mean, I doubted him before going in, but the plan right off the bat, it was a great plan.
So what do you suppose now, Braun Strowman, now that his name is engraved on that Andre Cup, is he going to start looking at who wins the Universal title match tonight, who wins the WWE Championship match tonight? I mean, he's got to think that there's other opportunities in line for him.
No doubt. There's
whether they are or
other
aren't.
opportunities. There's something I have to bring forward. Braun Strowman looked incredible. Now, he's always a mountain of a man, but he looked even leaner, even more jacked, even better condition.
You're talking about the carbs and all that stuff, right? Being shredded like yourself,
he
right?
Was shredded.
Yeah,
he was shredded.
You know, I mean, and the thing is, as soon as he came out, that's the first thing that David actually touched me. Did you see this? You know what I mean? And I'm like, I see it. I mean, calm down. But definitely Braun Strowman have bigger fish to fry. I mean, bigger things over the horizon for Braun Strowman, and this right here is just the beginning. He got a chip in the game now. It's just a matter of when he's going to use it. And I think when Braun Strowman finally captures that goal, it's going to be a long time for anybody to take it from him. That guy's a beast.
He's got to capture it first, though, and he hasn't been able to do that.
You know, timing, being in the right place at the right time, that's really what it's truly all about. When we talk about Kofi Mania right now, Kofi is in the right place at the right time. You know, Ali goes down, Kofi steps up. Yep. That's what it takes sometimes. Win by attrition, sometimes by any means necessary, if you feel me.
Well, you know, when you talk about the fact that Braun Strowman came in here tonight lean, in shape, what it says to me is that the last couple of months, he has shown himself and said to himself, this has got to be my year. And we know that this is the night that starts our next year, right? And I think that's Braun Strowman says this is going to be my year.
And I can honestly say 365 days a year, man. I mean, it's hard, man, trying to stay in shape all year long. Hopefully he'll get it done.
All right. The kickoff show continues just moments away from WrestleMania. We are live back here on the USA Network, and as you can see, MetLife Stadium has filled almost to capacity. Over 80,000 fans will be here tonight. 1 year ago, Ronda Rousey made her in-ring debut. Over the course of the next several months, the entire women's division took exception to the attention and the attitude. Out of that came a rivalry that pushed the women's division to all-time heights. And it culminates tonight. For the first time ever, the women will have the coveted main event spot here at WrestleMania. It's all or nothing. Both women's titles will be on the line here tonight.
I say that I'm the best, and there is not a woman that can tell me different. Since day one, I told you that this was my destiny. Any ring I step into is mine. I own the ground under my feet, and I can go rogue whenever I want.
For the first time ever in WWE history, a women's match will main event WrestleMania. Rousey, Flair, Lynch, winner take all.
Take a hit, shoot me down, shoot me down. I won't ever hit the ground, playing dead I'll never do. Gotta keep an eye on you. Patience is wearing thin, paper thin. Promises broke again. What a sin, but it only feeds my energy. So don't expect no sympathy. Smoke, fire, flares are going up, flares are going up. Oh, won't wave my white flag, no. Damn the man. This time I won't let go. Screw the woo. I'd rather die than give up the fight, And no more Mrs. Dice Pit. My entire career, I've been knocking down doors in judo, in the UFC, and now I'm the main event at WrestleMania. You're welcome. My resume speaks for itself. That's why I was hand-picked to be the main event. I was not hand-picked like you, but here I am. At WrestleMania, I am reclaiming everything they have tried to take from me to give to someone else.
Other. Somebody get this under control. The main event of WrestleMania is in handcuffs. Can you imagine when these three women are in the ring?
Winner takes all, that's going to be me. WrestleMania is going to be Judgment Day for both Becky and Charlotte. My revolution is going to explode when I make one of them dopes stop.
Lynch, Flair, Rousey, winner take all.
These three women will join a very exclusive club tonight of superstars who have main evented WrestleMania. The likes of Hulk Hogan, Roman Reigns, Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, Triple H, Austin, The Rock, Booker T.
All right. I was wondering if
all right, we've only got about a minute left. Give me your predictions of what you think will happen in the main event tonight.
Well, here's why this match is so special. It's the first ever women's main event for WrestleMania, but they're not there because they're women. They're there because this is the story that people want to see settled. This is the match people want to see. And I don't know who's going to win, but I know Becky needs to win. If she doesn't win, it's bottom of the food chain for her. More opportunities are on the line there for Charlotte. Plenty more coming for Ronda, not for Becky if she loses.
Booker.
Ronda has been on point since day one. We all know that. I mean, she's good. Sometimes she's boyfriend. Charlotte Flair, I mean, she's working on a legacy, a dynasty, but momentum, that's the question. Momentum, that's the word. Momentum. Becky Lynch has all of that. I give it to Becky Lynch.
David?
And I'm going to dovetail off that. Momentum is so big, especially in this business, you know, and I think back to Becky Lynch being the first ever SmackDown Women's Champion, and I see how far she's come. And I remember earlier when she almost had the match at Survivor Series with Ronda Rousey and didn't, and here she is tonight, ready to prove herself. Winner take all, I'm going Becky Lynch.
All the superstars work their whole lives to perform on this stage to make the impossible dream a reality. Tonight will be dramatic and historic. The first ever women's main event has arrived. Settle in and remember where you were. WrestleMania starts now.
Seth Rollins has won the Royal Rumble match. Who will Rollins choose?
The last thing Seth Rollins wants to do is to get into a fight with the Beast.
WrestleMania, streaming live on WWE Network. Tonight, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. As always, WWE Network is free for new subscribers.
I'm the